Hello and good afternoon, TVI viewers. Welcome to Crossroads with Neeth and Shan. As you know, Crossroads is a weekly talk show dedicated to discussing a variety of topics that are relevant to the social, economic, political, and cultural advancements of Tamil Canadians. The percentage of Canada's population that is made up of seniors is rapidly growing every year, and Tamil Canadians are no exception to this growth. We have a vibrant seniors population in our community who are making great contributions in our social, economic, cultural, and political realms. But their contributions in general are under-recognized and underappreciated. Their challenges, the challenges they face in their lives often do not make it to the agenda of the broader community. Therefore, on today's episode of Crossroads, we are going to explore the contributions made by Tamil seniors, the issues and challenges they face, with a bit of focus on elder abuse. In the last segment of the show, we will discuss strategies and initiatives that the Tamil community has to undertake to support our seniors population better. So to discuss this critical issue, we have three amazing community activists and community workers with us. Let me start by introducing them. Dr. Parvati Kandasamy, who's been an amazing activist for us in our community, and you founded, together with a group of folks, Vasantham, Tamil Seniors Wellness Center. And I have to say, when I came to Canada 20 years ago, my first volunteerism was with you in Thorncliffe neighborhood office when you were a settlement worker. And Nishantika Gowala Sundaranathan. And Nishantika is one of the board of directors for Vasantham and has been working on the health area with the mainstream organization as well. Welcome. And Mr. S. Srijanathan, and he's also a well-known community activist and actively participating in various realms of our community. But specifically today, you're here in your role as the president of Seniors Tamil Center of Ontario. And Seniors Tamil Center is reaching almost 30 years, 3 decades of presence in our community. Over 1,000 members of seniors. So thank you, all three of you, for joining. This is an important topic for us. I think it's important for our younger generation as well to get to know a bit more about the issues that seniors are facing today. So let's start with talking about their contributions. Often the contribution seniors make is undervalued, under-recognized, and underappreciated. So let's start with what kind of contributions of seniors, particularly we'll talk about Tamil seniors, making to our community here.
Tamil seniors are growing in numbers now. Even though the Tamil seniors came late, the youth started coming to Canada first. Later on, the seniors were sponsored, and also the youth parents were sponsored, and they are seniors now. So they have been working hard back home as well as here, and they were supporting children, children's education, especially when the seniors children are working, and they are looking after their kids, and that's how that is a biggest challenge in this community. If you don't have anyone, then you have to find somebody to look after the kids, and that is very, very difficult to find. So, and also it's trust, trust. So you are trusting your own parents. So they are with you, and they are helping you to grow your children, and also they are contributing to the community as well. The Senior Tamil Center of Ontario has started so early, and during that time the Tamil organizations were very, very few. And so after that we did all these organizations got together, and we did an ethno-racial seniors project at Mount Sinai along with Wellesley Central Hospital that time. And all the seniors were involved, and it was a seniors project. Through that project, an implementation task group was established, and then I was employed as a co-director of the implementation of that project. So through that project, we were able to outreach many seniors, and we were able to do a lot of mental health work through our agency. We established Vasantham, and through that we were able to educate our community a lot.
That's good. So, if you were to put a dollar value for the contribution seniors make by taking care of the children, it's not just childcare, but also the emotional support provided to and the guidance and the kind of things. It will be in millions or even grossing billions in terms of the support that's been provided. And the other thing you talked about is how we organize as seniors and so on. How about other realms in which seniors are contributing to our
Yeah, and relating to emotional support, I think seniors also contribute by sharing their culture. So as a younger generation Canadian, I've learned a lot of culture and value from listening to Tamil seniors and about the struggles they went through. And so I believe that cultural transference we really obtain from speaking to Tamil seniors. We learn about what were the values, the priorities they had from the stories. So it's easy to learn that they valued family, education, respect. So all of these things we learn from listening to seniors. And I think this is such a strong contribution that we have and we are fortunate to have. And our seniors have gone through so many things like immigration, the war, all sorts of struggles. And for us to learn about their resiliency, it gives us emotional support. So I think that's a really strong contribution that they gave to us.
And I think sometimes people think culture is something separate, and if people understand culture and that leads to self-esteem, that leads to emotional well-being, and then it leads to success economically, politically, socially, and so on, right? So the contribution grandparents make through that is critical.
Yeah, it solidifies our identity because I think oftentimes the younger generation, they may be lost at are we Tamil, are we Canadian, who are we? But when we start talking to seniors, we learn about our Tamil culture and it really brings a boost in self-esteem.
In a country where parents are so busy, not their fault, but they have to make ends meet and have to work long hours and so on. The grandparents have filled that void as well to taking that role.
And in our organization, we have the board of directors where we have younger generation. We wanted to have the intergenerational bond. So Nisa is one of our board of directors because we wanted to transfer, our
wisdom.
Yes, and otherwise the seniors organization won't be lasting, right? And the seniors won't be respected. So they will be able to guide other youth as well.
That's good. So one of the things I work in a lot of mainstream settings, and there are two age groups that mainstream folks really are so pleased with when it comes to Tamil community. One is the youth, when Cantide was formed, or when youth issues became, the younger generation took leadership. Also during the demonstrations against human rights violations, the youth took leadership. The other group they're often talking highly is the Tamil seniors group. Yes. In many places across Ontario, seniors have organized amongst themselves voluntarily, doing a lot of the work that is otherwise in other places would be a heavily funded initiative, right? So you lead one of those. So can you take us through some of the contributions that
we have organized so many things for the seniors. Even in fact, recently also, like now, we have given almost every day. We have the programs for the seniors. So that means it's like they are not being at home. They are all coming out now. We brought them, make them to be realized that we have so many programs organized by senior Tamils. I think as Parvati said, one of the reasons is they have been at home after looking after the kids, at least give them a little bit of relief to them to be at these centers.
And take them out of isolation, right?
Taking out of the isolations. So that's the help there. And then all the seniors now if you have seen them, how they are organizing so many, closer to their places, they are organizing small, even though it's a little bit difficult in the sense to say, but they almost now I heard about 17 organization, Tamil seniors organization throughout the GTA is so that
doing something, yoga and various activities going on.
And I think the emotional well-being is one thing. The other thing is also, I think sometimes this is one of the things that I think in our community, when you reach like 55, 60, we have this thing that says, I'm already old, or I'm getting closer to the thing, right? But these programs have revitalized that, computer classes, dance classes, and so on. The seniors themselves have a long way of figuring out new contributions they can make through these programs.
Yeah, they are making a lot of contributions now. Even they were a bit reluctant to participate or anything, but now they are willing to come out and say, even for dancing, singing. Those people, though, they don't ask, if you ask them, they won't sing. But now, their competition now. So like that, they emotionally or whatever it is, they're coming out of the...
very, very critical.
Yeah, we have a partnership program with the Scarborough Center for Health Communities, and we have a Tamil coordinator, and she runs 3 groups. One is at 65 Greencrest. There, those people are really doing a lot of play, even English plays, with some other organization, mainstream organization. They have been doing that, and they are doing a lot of things. Seniors, there are the Harmony Hall where seniors go all day. They stay there and then they cook and eat. And at Vasandam also we have seniors, and we have a nice psychiatrist now who is from Sri Lanka. He's really helping them a lot with activities so that they can do themselves. But on the other hand, we should not forget there are seniors in the pockets who are not outreached.
So we'll get to the issues. I just want to quickly touch on one other aspect. We talked about social, economic, and cultural. The political contribution. I think having been a candidate and so on, the knowledge, political knowledge our seniors have. The middle generation in many ways lacks it. The kind of depth of understanding of world politics and so on, right? And that is, I think, another contribution. I think
they are not going for voting and all, right? Seniors
are.
They are going.
Participate in the political arena. They, at least, I think probably they read more, even though reading in Tamil or whatever it is. At least they are being given the chance to. Not because the knowledge of
they have time and they listen to the radio. They also, we organize speakers to bring awareness among themselves, so among the seniors. And so the speakers come and talk and they give information. So seniors really are the ones who are getting the information, passing it to their
families and children. So it's important wanted to, before we talk about issues, the kind of spectrum of contribution, economically, socially, politically, and culturally, that seniors are making, and some often undervalued. And it's almost really the first part of the show. We want to make tribute to those contributions.
Really, they make the contribution is like when you say 30 years ago, when, as Parvati said, how they came up immediately, the idea 1986, like Sapatura and some other Pred Balasingham and all, they form Mani Padmaraja and all those people, they just thought about it. And now see, it's in a broad.
This is Rajanayagam who is in the.
So it should be, we should recognize they are the one who pioneers for this. Aloy Ratnasingham and all those people. It's really, they did a lot of things to this.
So before we go into the next segment, we have a few minutes to start talking a bit about issues, because it's all good to acknowledge the contribution, but as you were starting to say, there's a huge population of seniors who are not reached through various programs, and that's no fault of the programs, but they are in isolation and barriers and so on. So what kind of issues are we seeing seniors facing?
The transportation issue is the major issue, because the Canadian weather is not allowing them to participate in any programs if they have to get out of the house. That is number one. Number two is the children have moved. I'm glad the younger generation bought houses in Markham, Brampton and other places. So they have moved the seniors along with them too. So they are in the houses and they are helping their children with with babysitting and all. But on the other hand, they don't have time to spend with their peers. They don't, some of them are unable to go to the seniors group. The seniors group are 17, it's grown, it's great. But when you think about 13% of population, they are seniors. So they are not there. Only those who can go, they are there. But how we can outreach those seniors, how we can help them, and also caregivers. Right, some seniors are caregivers for their partners and also for their children too. Disabled children are home, and so they are burdened with such things. So we really have to look at how to help them.
That's a good point. And also, when you move into the suburbs, it's bigger houses, but the closest library is not a walking distance. The infrastructure, the transit in many of these 905 areas is not that frequent. So a lot of those things are being lost. Any other major issues, just highlighting some of the issues that you can think of?
I would say language barriers are huge. And language barriers may lead to problems with navigating the system. So what happens is there might be so many activities like accessing the library or community centers, but the language issue is a huge barrier for them to participate. They may want to join in that drama class, or they may want to do that arts group, but the language is a barrier. And in terms of visiting medical appointments, they may need someone's support all the time. So
quickly,
On the
any other
GTA
comments?
within Toronto, of course, people were able to, like now see we have partnership with the Toronto North seniors, so they were able to use it for the mental health issue. They were having a Tuesdays program, but they were able to help these people to do the wheel trans booking and all those things. But only thing is, only those people cannot walk or with only can get the wheel trans, but the rest of them is like as Ms. Kansami said, it's very difficult for them to move in the during the winter time.
Yeah.
That is the main problem. on
And injuries during
Yeah,
winter time for
falls.
seniors is not just for Tamil seniors, generally
for
has been,
everybody.
has
Yeah.
been a major concern
Major
as well.
concern
So,
about
so we have transit, language barriers, program accessibility, and many other things, health, and elder abuse is something that we'll talk about after the break. So we're going to be discussing some of these issues in the next segment. So for now, we'll take a brief commercial break. After a few commercials, you'll see a few clips from a documentary that was created by Vasantham on elder abuse, and then when we return, we will talk further about elder abuse. Stay tuned.
அப்பா நீங்களும் அம்மாவும் கனடாவுக்கு வந்து ஒரு மாதம் ஆயிட்டுது. கனடா இப்போ நல்லா பழகி இருக்கும். நானும் தங்கச்சியும் சேர்ந்து ஒரு முடிவுக்கு வந்திருக்கிறோம். தங்கச்சிக்கும் பிள்ளைகளை பார்த்துக்கொள்றதுக்கு ஒரு ஆள் வேணும். அம்மா தங்கச்சியோட இருந்து பிள்ளைகளை பார்த்துக்கொள்ளட்டும். நீங்கள் இங்கே இருங்க.
യാളിനി ഡേ കോയിലുക്ക് പോവമേ ഞാനുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരാഴ്ചനി വിരതമില്ലേണേ
இன்றைக்கு எனக்கு நேரம் இல்லைம்மா. நான் பிள்ளைகளை ஸ்கூலுக்கு கூட்டி கொண்டு போகணும்.
அப்போ உள்ள வகுப்பு முடிஞ்சா போல பின்னேரம் போவோமே.
இல்லைம்மா, இன்றைக்கு எனக்கு பின்னேரம் ஒரு பர்த்டே பார்ட்டி இருக்குது.
புள்ள இன்றைக்கு ஃபுட்டாச்சனியண்ணே மச்சங்க செந்துட்டு அதோடலே அங்கே போய்.
அம்மா, இது கனடா.
കുമരൻ ഊരുക്കൊരുക്ക ടെലിഫോനോടൊപ്പം சித்தப்பா ஆஸ்பத்திரியில் இருக்கிறார்.
போன கிழமை காய்ச்ச நீங்கள் பிறகு பார்ப்போம். காசை கரியாக்கலாம் நடாவில்.
தம்பிக்கு என்ன நடந்ததோ தெரியாது.
அடுத்த தடவை பார்ப்போம்.
Welcome back. You're watching Crossroads with Neeth and Shan. We are talking about Tamil seniors. In the first segment, we talked about the contribution, social, political, economic, and cultural contributions Tamil seniors make to this country and to us. In the second part, particularly this segment, we're going to be talking a bit about elder abuse, a particular concern that is a prevalent and something that needs to be addressed within our community and within generally among all seniors population as well. So Vasantham undertook a project recently about senior
the New
abuse,
Horizon
New Horizons
project.
funded project.
Yeah, and we did a huge project. We went all over the city and we gathered information from people who have not been touched by other senior groups, and so we got a lot of information based on that.
So there's this generally, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
we tend to believe, and some of the things that we are taught as younger generation is that you respect your
I know.
elders and they're considered divine
Yeah.
type thing. And so talking about elder abuse in our community, sometimes people are in denial too.
Right,
Does it
yeah,
exist? So
yeah.
does it exist? What kind of abuses exist?
We have two main, you know, abuse, just like other communities. In Canada, 2 to 10% of the seniors in Canadian population, they are abused. So seniors, our seniors also fall within that category. The seniors are abused physically, not too much, but with their partners they are. But even children have physically abused. We have, Vasantham has, you know, history. And people come to us, you know, when they are physically, not all of them are coming. And then the other one is psychological abuse. Psychological abuse is a biggest one. And even sexual abuse, you know, seniors are abused sexually by their partners, you know, that is, we are not, you know, it is not a, it's just like other community we also have, because we have heard stories. Especially Lalita Broody, if you talk to her, and she will tell a lot of stories that she heard from the community about sexual abuse. So what kind of abuse is mostly happening is psychological abuse. Financial abuse is also happening.
Financial abuse is when you know, access to income is not provided. In many cases, the
It's
income
like
that they
something
receive.
like now, see, if they are in the like a senior homes, it's like a joint account. When you have a joint account, this like if they are in the ODSP or something, money goes to the bank directly, and they have no even though they have the access, they are very difficult to go to the bank, or the children is the one the responsible for it. If they take the money, like now, see, if they are at home, they cannot go out. They have to wait for their child to come and give the money or do something. This is something, their own money.
And
This
in
is
some
the
cases, they're not getting the entire money or even major
No,
part of
not
it.
at
right?
all.
It's like
part
a-
of it.
Yeah.
So they're finding it difficult in the sense to even if somebody comes in, they're finding, so I don't have money to do. Even though the government gives them, they're living there. You're thinking why they don't have the money.
Yeah. Is neglect a concern, like in terms of, you know,
Yeah,
with
neglect.
children and seniors, you know, can you, like, because they are vulnerable population, sometimes they cannot access whatever they need
Exactly.
Yeah,
themselves.
even the health services, they are not, some of the seniors are not taken to the doctors. So some doctors are, you know, telling us that some seniors come when the children are free during the weekend. It's full of seniors because they have a somatic complaint. But some other seniors, they have no other, you know, the children sometimes only take them to the doctors. So already their, you know, blood pressure and everything is gone up.
So what's your experience, Nisha?
Well, what I find is there's a loss of autonomy that we see with seniors when they're experiencing this abuse. So what happens when Uncle had highlighted about the financial abuse, they lose their control over their finances. And then when you talk about psychological abuse, they're losing their self-core. So it's like they're losing themselves through these
And they
elder
come from
abuse.
a community where they were decision makers and their roles got reversed. In
Yeah,
many ways,
so
right?
coming from Sri Lanka, where there's no real barriers for them in terms of navigating, where they were the wisdom keepers, it's a very different shift when they come here, and they expect a lot of respect, and they come from a culture where respect is, you know, a priority, and they're disappointed.
Yeah.
But not all abuses are done intentionally, but regardless, it is an abuse,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think a lot of the times
There
we
is
talk to
another
people-
abuse happening right now. It's you know, many seniors have complained about it. The children are trying to sell the seniors' land back home.
Back home, yeah.
Right. Some of them even forge documents, it seems, to sell that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
because for
I
the
mean,
seniors,
we are
that's
getting
their
the-
lifetime
yeah.
earning and life. You know, they belong to that particular community, and they always it is in their mind, right? That
And
that's
also
their
we
home.
want to make sure that everybody knows that abuse is a criminal offense, and
Yeah.
you know, neglect is part of it as well. And
Right.
and sometimes we hear stories of medications not being given or
Right.
not being provided, or the cost of medications because of that a certain person's health has not been accepted, and so on, right?
The other issues
Even the, like now see the Greater Toronto area, as you said earlier, the houses, when they take it, be there, they're looking after their kids and all. But that is also psychological effect, in the sense, even though sometimes they find it difficult to look in the kids, it's not easy to,
yeah, it is very difficult.
very difficult to look up. It's also stressful for them to, even though they can't tell to the children, say, I can't do it, this one.
Yeah.
So they are forcefully to psychologically, they make them to
It's
be.
hard enough for a parent like me with a 3.5-year-old, almost
know.
4-year-old. So
Right.
it is physically a straining
It's
thing,
very-
and then sometimes they don't
It's
get a
all
break.
day, right?
They don't get
have
the break. Even the weekend sometimes, they will say, no, Amma, I had to go. So can you? So even the weekend sometimes it's like coming like that. It's
Yeah.
for them to even to, or they even at least to take to the temple or do something, because they wanted to that type of services provided by their children, but they are not doing it. That
Another major thing happening is this is happening with many families. They are separating the seniors, the parents.
Yeah.
So
take care of one
the father
siblings.
will be in Brampton with the son or somebody, and then the mother will be here with the daughter, looking after her, you know, her children.
Yeah.
So the seniors are separated.
Yeah.
So it's not the time that they should be separated.
And that brings an interesting point, because
Yeah.
sometimes there's an assumption among the middle layer of population that seniors do not have the emotional
Right.
need of having a recreation, going to a movie, or spending time with
Yeah.
their partner and stuff like that. That assumption is pretty damaging to the relationship, right?
That's
So-
what it is, because they need the companion to do that. This is what,
Especially
when they
at that time,
separated, it's like emotional, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's what is the main reason. They should be together. Is even.
As an occupational therapist, I learn about the value of partaking in meaningful activities on health. So especially when you're a senior, you want to take different various activities, but you may be tied down to babysitting activities or other constraints due to family. So it really restricts them from doing what they really want to do, and ultimately that affects their health.
And you know, we have many examples of big productions, and the greatest work by various artists and so on were done during their senior
Yeah.
years,
Time, yeah,
years, right? So,
Yeah.
so sometimes, you know, to say that, you know, you have to stop doing whatever you're interested in, and it's maybe
Even
limiting to
writings,
their
yeah.
limiting to their writings or artwork
Everything.
and so on, right? So
Another thing that the seniors, you know, after 70s, you know, the dementia is
yeah.
catching up with the seniors. So that is really problematic for the children also, because they cannot leave them at home, and there are floods in homes and also fire, because seniors, they forget.
Yeah, yeah.
So that area is not, because our seniors are not living in, you know, they are not used to live in nursing homes, and so when they are very old, when you leave them in the nursing homes, they don't like it, and it's very difficult, and also language issue. So for, especially for Alzheimer's, so without the language, and they wouldn't be able to communicate with the senior homes people.
That's an interesting point, because we talked generally about seniors and talked about some of the ways in which their children aren't taking care of them, but also the struggles of that generation, which is sandwiched sometimes. You're taking care of a son or daughter who hasn't got an employment after 25, 26 years of age because of the current labor market situation, and then you have a senior, and you know, sometimes that generation is also struggling without much support as well. Not that that's any excuse for abuse,
Right.
but I think we have
It's
to find
an
a way
issue.
for us to support that generation too. Is that something that's coming up in terms of people?
It's called caregiver burden,
Yeah.
and oftentimes we see it in that sandwich generation where they have to take care of their children and also the elder population. And it really is very overwhelming, because there's so many number of demands per day. They don't know, they themselves may not be able to navigate the system, so they really need a lot of support as well. And oftentimes it spills into these kind of abuse because of frustration at home and at the system at large.
So when seniors come to realize that they have a situation at home or in their surrounding that's abusive, Is there enough places they can go to for support? Is it something that's there enough, or they're starting to form?
I think the communication is the one of the gap. There are places to take them to, like they see Toronto Senior, they have a place at Shepherd. There are places there you can drop them and pick them up. But then communication is one. When it's become a dementia, sometimes they may not be able to communicate. This is what the issue is, like the problem of the senior homes. Like I can say something about my mom. She's the senior, she's going to be. She can communicate in the sense, but she will forget what he wanted to say. She cannot call them. And so these things, when you even drop them in the senior homes, if your children are not going, then it's again another problem. It's like those are the issues which you have to look into that.
I mean, you had to face the racism, right, in the senior homes. That is also, we have identified racism in the senior homes. People of color are not treated properly, and because of the language issue, and they are not ignored. Even when I was visiting, the senior was calling the worker to change the diaper or go to the washroom, but there's no way that you will get the service immediately, because some senior homes are really not culture sensitive. Culture sensitivity is not there in all senior homes, right? Most of the senior homes are, there's no Tamil particular nursing home in Toronto. We have tried for about 20 years to build a Tamil home, because for people like this, Alzheimer's, right, who cannot communicate other than in English, in Tamil, and they cannot get services because they can't even express that they need food.
So linguistically and culturally sensitive services, and you talked about racism. It's not just in the senior homes, but even senior programs, right? Sometimes, because of the language barrier, they're seen as not knowledgeable, which is not
even the private Tamil nursing homes, and where people are keeping it for profit. There also we hear stories about people who are somewhat well-to-do, and they are treated differently than people who have no visitors going, no money, and they cannot provide extra money, and those people are not treated well. And we really need a Tamil nursing home.
I think even the Tamil nursing home here, they also try to, not the Alzheimer, they won't, I don't think they will take the Alzheimer. They will look at it, who could move around, who could do, they are the people.
That's the private ones,
Yeah, private ones. Because other one is like, I think, we have at the Providence, at the Leisure World.
That is one floor. It's not Tamil, but they have given that space.
Yes, space now is almost 40 people have come up to the at Lawrence and this one is almost 40. Earlier it was only the one being 24 people. Now it's almost because we used to go on every end of the month.
I was there last month also.
About 40 people.
So I think the general consensus is that there isn't enough sensitive, both culturally and linguistically sensitive services for seniors to access, and combined with racism and other forms of discrimination, it becomes even harder. So before the last segment, we are going to focus a bit more on what does our community need to do, because it's a community challenge, and just like how the community came together to address immigration challenges by forming organizations.
Look at the Chinese community, how Yihong Center, how many centers they have built up. And our seniors, even when Aloy Ratnasingham was there, we were really trying to find the way to at least get one nursing home from these vendors through, some middle-aged guys like your age group. They came together, they wanted to build up one, and they came, and it failed because they couldn't meet the money, because the guy, another person who was, I think, who had some money, but it wasn't enough.
Okay.
to buy it.
So we'll talk about that in the next
Right.
segment. Before I go to the last segment where we are talking about specifically about what we can do, a quick question about legal support, right? Because if you're if you're abused in a home or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that, the wealthy ones or the non-racialized one have
Yeah.
definitely more access to legal support. Have you come across that seniors not having access to legal support for challenging any of the concerns that they have?
Yeah, I think with our Tamil seniors, they may be aware that there are legal services, but what happens is they feel maybe guilty to make that call. They feel like they're selling their kids in order to make that decision. So they're kind of hesitant to go into that way, even though they may realize that 911 is always an option.
And our experience from our country of origin with the legal system isn't the most pleasant
Yeah.
or most
Exactly.
trusted as well. So
We have South Asian Legal Clinic where there was a Tamil lawyer before, but now there is a social worker, Tamil
yeah.
social worker.
Yeah.
So the seniors are outreaching them, and we also encourage seniors to go to Elder Advocacy Center,
Yeah.
and that is
legal clinic as well.
right. It's a
There are
legal.
so many organizations are there to get the legal support, but as she said, they are a little bit reluctant to go for the legal system, whether it will go, my children will get things. So this is the cultural stigma is the one holding them to go to the.
There are so many layers that they think
layers
are
is-
multidimensional stuff, right?
So
Yeah.
they don't want to be
When they
like
start going, and then they fear that they will lose the support from the children.
Yeah, yeah.
And they will not be able to live, and then the community will look them
Down.
down.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take a small break. After a few commercials, we'll come back and talk about the role of the community as a whole in terms of addressing some of the concerns we mentioned. Stay tuned.
அம்மா அந்த பேங்க் அட்டை தாங்கும் நான் வச்சுக்கொள்கிறேன், நீங்கள் துளைச்சி போடுவீங்க. நீங்கள் துளைச்சி போடுவீங்க, நான் வச்சிருக்கிறேன்.
தம்பி 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 நீங்கள் தமிழ் ஐயா எனக்கு ஐயா தலை சுற்றுது ஒரு தேத்தண்ணி வேண்டி தாருங்கோ இங்கே இருந்தாலும்
என்னப்பா என்ன நடந்த உங்களுக்கு? ஏன் ஜூன்ல ஃப்ளஷ் பண்ணல?
இல்லை ரமேஷ், நான் அடிச்சேனா?
இல்லையப்பா, நீங்க ஃப்ளஷ் பண்ண இல்லை.
இங்கே பாருங்கோ, இவன் சின்னவன் உங்களோட அப்பாவால் சரியான ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்ஸாக போய் கிடக்கிறான். அவனுக்கு வீட்டில் இருக்க விருப்பமே இல்லையா? இப்போ என்ன செய்ய போறியா?
ஏய், நீ இங்கே அனுப்பு. நான் இல்லை அவன் ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் பண்ணான். அண்ணா, நீங்கள் வேற வீடு பாருங்கோ. நான் அப்பா அம்மா பேஸ்மெண்ட்ல விட போறேன் ப்ளீஸ்.
Welcome back. You're watching Crossroads with Neeth and Shan. In this show, we are talking about issues and contributions of the Tamil seniors. In the first segment, we talked about the contributions seniors make. The second segment, we talked a bit about the challenges, the issues that are faced by our seniors. And in the third and the final segment, we want to talk a bit about the role in which the community can play and help our seniors, and the issues that we talked about needs to be addressed. So what's the most effective way to get this addressed is the question. So your organization has been around for 3 decades, and then initially, dealing with social isolation and other things, and skill building and all stuff you've taken care of. Now, the issues we talked about, what do you see as a representative of an organization that's really large
In fact, we already thought about this, at least we should have either senior home or long-term care. We had a provision, we already set aside a little bit of money for that purpose. But recently we formed a committee to look into that so that we could bring some outsiders to make sure to contribution to that big money on that. We should bring all these we have to identify the people who could contribute to this. There are people willing to, even last week when I went for an actually this Coquilindo, the chief guest was mentioning, because he is a money man, he will be ready to, I'm sure, if he can harness all the people who are there now. Those days about 20 years ago is very tough. But now we have to bring them, all of them, have a meet, and then put some money together in front, and then probably we have to go for the
government support. Yeah, if you have a bit of base of the
we could able to do it. That is what we are looking at it.
So one major thing that our community can do is about building that established particular senior home, and it doesn't only serve that particular home. It can be a place that can generate research or practices to be shared to other places.
Yeah, like
Vasandam,
not,
we do.
No, the Chinese one, which is having at the Middlefield, and they have the ground floor for the renting and purpose for all the other activities.
They have 3 centers,
There are so many centers. I don't know how they manage it.
And one at they have given to South Asians in Stowell, 1 floor.
Okay, great. So what else can that's a major concern as well, long-term care, and not just long-term care, but also a seniors home.
I think it's not about, in my opinion, because I've been advocating for this for many years, and now the Tamil community is really doing well. And there are so many people who are willing to do this, and so we really have to find, I think we have to have a organization or a trust fund or something that we have to start establishing, and we had to bring the community members who have vested interest in such trust fund, and we have to bring them and start something.
The key is, I think, transparency and accountability.
Right,
this is the main issue. Like we have to have a trust. This is the main issue with our community.
Right.
This is the main problem, but we are undergoing all these years. First of all, we all had to come together, as she said, it's a trust. We have to bring the people to contribute and make, even individually also, then we have to make them as the shareholders. And everybody is, then is there.
The other thing is, Nathan, we, the Tamil Canadians, are about 500,000 or more in the Greater Toronto now.
That number keeps going up.
I know, it is.
Either we are reproducing at a really high rate, but
we are
big.
Because we have children, grandchildren, and all these numbers, right? 250,000 when we started the project in 1990 something, 98 or something. So now it's
big,
right? And so, you know, we have to really lobby the government, because when the Kairos government was in power and they, you know, gave all the seniors homes to somebody, not to our community, right? So we couldn't get anything after that, and no senior homes are now allowed to, you know, come up. The government fund, you won't get any government fund for that. Well, so you had to find the way. You had to tap the federal government, and you had to make them to contribute, because we have a lot of votes, and we have to really talk to them.
That's a very interesting point. I think our community generally, when it comes to social needs, aren't lobbying. Not even
lobbying.
Not even you know, enough lobbying. But I don't see as much lobbying for health needs or social needs and so on as much. Except, you know, organizations are tight because they have mandates that are very tight in many ways, right? The organizations cannot be politically lobbying, but we need
everyone is going to be a senior. So everyone is going to need rice and curry. So we need to
I will definitely need rice and curry when I become a senior, right? And you know, it is also, you know, in certain ways, some of us thought our children should take care of us. I think our next generation and even the seniors now feel that we want to be independent in a space where we can be having those things. So before we go to the, if you want to add more to this, that's fine too. But I also want to talk about awareness. What can, because you're part of the younger generation that can lead a bit of awareness about these issues. So is there any suggestions for our community?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to look at it from a macro level, but in terms of a micro level, I think it's important about communicating with our seniors and to have that meaningful dialogue with them, to have the space to talk to them, to learn about what's going on. I think as a younger generation, we may not feel comfortable sometimes talking to seniors, but we have to initiate the conversation, learn about their stories, learn about what are they going through, their struggles. And I think through that, it's a mutual relationship. They will learn from us, we will learn from them, and we grow together. And I think that
we have a very short window of time. You know, in the next 20, 30 years, we will lose a lot of the seniors who came from our homeland. And there's no written history. At least an oral history has to be documented somewhere through talking to them, right? Is there any projects, like, you know, it has to be done through a project idea, right? Can you think of anybody doing that, to sit down with maybe 1,000 seniors and talk to them? Because history is not about who was the first prime minister, right? History is also about, you know, what people went through, how they survived, how they came to be here, and so on.
Actually, it's very interesting. I had a few youths come up to me. They have a photography project that they wanted to start, where they wanted to interview seniors to learn about their narratives and about what did they learn, their wisdom, and to carry that forward. So that's maybe one of the projects that Vasandam can initiate. I mean, we have lots going on right now, but
you're stretched. I know all of our Tamil social service agencies are stretched.
We're mainly focused on addiction. And mental health, but surely this is as important as the mental health aspects as well.
Or even the community can start looking at taking that as a leadership project. The media in our community can do that, right? I think.
And also the seniors' age, the lifespan is changing, right? Those days the seniors were, you know, dying of 55, 60. That's why we have 55-year senior pension back in Sri Lanka. But now
life expectancy is
expectancy is really higher. You know, it's going to 80, 90. Even in the third world countries, it's going up. So, you know, it is a burden on the children as well, because for such years they cannot look after them. So you hear stories about, you know, people who are left in the railway station in Tamil Nadu also, right? A lot of stories you will hear. So it's not happening just in the Tamil community, to everybody. So we really have to find a way to build up seniors nursing home.
That the last point around, it's not just us. Every senior faces certain things like wheel-trans availability or the affordability of wheel-trans, or even you know, policies, not just wheel-trans. You know, in many cities, the seniors travel for free.
That is what.
And even if we have the weekends free for seniors, that will take a lot of the financial burden.
It's a lobbying. This is what is the main thing. We all have to do it, like at least getting the transport, like in UK and all seniors now, they also increasing the age, but now is increased to 62. They all free from after 9 o'clock. Morning 9 to then is free for the whole day.
In many countries.
At least here, as you suggested, if the weekend at least they give, but they are increasing now for the seniors.
I mean, recently we had an announcement for kids for TTC under 12 free, which is a good thing. And if the seniors can go too, that increases the social time as well, right? And then other things, you know, ODSP support and other things that are there. This is not just a Tamil seniors issue.
Health issues, you
other
know,
seniors,
like you know, they cannot have dental care, right? Seniors after 65. So that because seniors after 65, they really need dental care. Those who are on ODSP can get it, but not seniors over 65.
So my last question is mainly going to be around what do we do in terms of building alliances with other communities, both in the mainstream quote unquote and the systems, but also we talked about seniors issues. There are many issues that are similar to other racialized communities, whether it's the Muslim population or the Sikh population or the Chinese population, and there are lots of needs that are generally common. You have worked in this sector for a number of years. Do you see that happening, that the relationship between our seniors sector and the rest, or should it be strengthened, and why so?
It should be strengthened. It's not happening much, but the seniors, our seniors are in different pockets. They are doing their own things, so they are not going together with other seniors to, so that will take a bit of time. I think the language is the major issue there, but on the other hand, they are a little bit reluctant about the cultural aspects as well.
Not even the interaction between the seniors themselves, but the people who advocate for seniors.
Right.
Can they collaborate with advocates for seniors on the other side?
That's how Vasantham got funding with, you know, Scarborough Center for Healthy Communities. So we have a project.
I think not Harmony Hall. It's also multicultural, but only thing they have this specifically for a one day the Tamil, but if they can integrate together in the one day program, but still people can go. But as
they are also trying to merge with some other agency.
No, now so they are merging with some other agencies. But then again, Toronto North, we have the program with them that's for mental health. So like partnership, if you go with them, at least they get the idea of what the other organizations are doing at least. But we should think about it, partnering with some other organizations.
More than programs, but more for policy change as well, right? Because program changes, you know, you can't have everybody in the same crowd and do it in English, then it beats the purpose, right? It doesn't, it's not accessible.
I think that kind of education should be done at the board level first. The board of directors should really go for that. So I think the board of directors in organizations are the requirement is that they should be educated themselves. Even from the city, they can invite people and learn about the policies and policy changes and all.
So maybe even the 17 seniors organization that we have, if all the board of directors come together and start strategizing about these bigger picture issues, because you know we all need our own programs, but the bigger picture issues, if we have a collective effort, that's good. I'll take your comments last and we'll wrap it up.
And even when it comes to funding, we want to make sure that we don't repeat other organizational requests as well. well. So it's great to communicate with other organizations who have similar mandates as us, and we work together on a mutual goal.
Yeah. Because the idea is not to fight among ourselves,
Exactly.
right?
No.
There's a collective,
It's a
there's a lot more that's out
Just
there
a
than what
service
we
for seniors,
At the end
right?
of the day, we're helping the Tamil community, all of us, and we want to make sure that we collaborate to do so.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming to the show, and we talked about many different things, and I hope this show was informative. First, we want to acknowledge the contribution Tamil seniors make, and today, if the Tamil community is vibrant and successful, that's predominantly the contribution of our seniors. Many young people are successful today because their grandparents had undertaken the heavy responsibility during a busy time for their parents to do that. So as an acknowledgement, we do this show, but also we want to make sure that, because in this whole picture of glorifying seniors, we don't forget the underlying issues of abuse and senior support that's there. So thank you, Dr. Parvati Kandasamy, Nishantika Gopalasundar-Nathan, and Mr. S. Srijanathan. Thank you very much for taking your time and sharing your insight with us. Thanks, viewers, for watching the show. In a week, we will meet you with another topic. Thank you.